Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. All right, I have Arie Brish, principal of CXO360 on the show with me today. He's got a tremendous book, top 10 bestseller. We're going to bring him on and talk about that. Arie, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Welcome. Happy Monday. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. All right, give us some background on you. Embellish yourself a little bit with your company and what you do. And I've got a few questions, and let's wrap it up with you telling us more about your book, okay?
Okay, cool. So I grew up in high tech and did a variety of assignments, executive assignments. I started as a R&D engineer, but very quickly I moved on to business roles. And one thing I learned over the years from all my colleagues and my own mistakes and my supervisor is that you can have a great idea and you fund the great idea, but the devil is in the details. It's all about the execution. So that's what I focused my last several years on just helping mentoring other young executives about the importance of execution, but more so, in most cases, the execution pitfalls or speed bumps are hidden if you don't know what to look for. So you need somebody to help people uncover those blind spots so they can address them before a disaster happens.
Got it. All right. The ecosystem management, that's one of the things that you work with. Bring that out for me.
So a common terminology in the business is business development, and in many cases, the business owner or the executive, if it's a large company, or the investors perceive business development as getting your first few customers. In the real world, it's extremely important before you even, I wouldn't say before, but it's extremely important that you recruit or you talk to or get buy-in by all the aspects in the ecosystem that your success depends on. Some industries have pretty complex ecosystems. For example, in the medical field, you have obviously the doctors you need to sell to, you need to sell to the pharmacies, you need to sell to the government to get all the approvals from the government. You need to sell to the insurance company to approve the new medicine you invented. So it's a very complex ecosystem, and you need to make sure that everybody is happy with your invention. Otherwise, if somebody is unhappy, they will make sure you fail.
You get it. I get it. All right. What do you mean by learning curve management?
Okay. Learning curve is the phenomena that the more you do something, the better you get in it. That's true for individuals. If you have to change a tire in your vehicle, the first time you do it, it takes you 3 hours, and if you did it 20 times, it takes you 10 minutes. Same thing is with new business or new product or a new company. There is a learning curve, or some people call it experience curve, where the time to do a task or to build a product or the cost, sometimes they are very related. So the cost to make a product is much higher than the market. To make the initial products is much higher than the market is willing to pay. Sometimes the initial cost of the first products could be $200 and the market will pay only $15. So when you budget your system, when you do your business plan for your new business or new product, you must take it into account. Many people know it, and then they are under pressure by their investors or by their supervisor, if it's a large company, to start make money from day one or from quarter one. Usually it doesn't happen. You have to budget for that difference between the cost of the product and the price. If you price your new product based on your cost, people will never buy it, and you'll never get the volume that you need to get to the lower cost that the market will bear. You must price your product in a market accepted price, and then drive your cost down as quickly as possible. But you must budget for that difference. Sometimes the difference can accumulate to hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars, and that must be budgeted.
I got it. All right, risk management, is that part of it, or is there more to it? Because that's certainly a part of risk that I would see, being able to handle that
Yeah.
margin.
Yeah, correct. Very good question. Sometimes the high cost has to do with failures that happen because of the learning curve. For example, you have to build 10 items to get one quality one to sell it to the market. So your cost is immediately 10x just because you throw away nine of the products. But risk, any new product has risk. The risk is whether the market will accept it, whether the product has the right features, whether it has the right price. But there are other elements that sometimes people ignore. For example, we talked about ecosystem before. I call it ecosystem preparedness. For example, if you design a new product or a new app for your phone for 5G, and 5G doesn't happen or happen 2 years later, you're stuck. You invested in this new product, but you cannot sell it because the 5G infrastructure is not ready for you. So that's an example of ecosystem readiness that you need to take into account when you design the product and have some mitigation. For example, going back to the example we talked about, it could be the great product for 5G, but if you don't want to be too dependent on 5G, you better have a version that works at 4G or even 3G, just in case, so you can start delivering before 5G happen. And by the way, once it happens, it doesn't happen overnight worldwide everywhere. Even today in Texas, there are certain regions you don't even get a 4G. So it starts normally in the big cities and expand during several years' time to other geographies.
Now, I want to give some remaining time. We've got a couple of minutes. I want to your book. Give our audience a synopsis of what the book is and let them take away a grain of knowledge, a nugget of wisdom before we close out.
Okay, so we talked about some of the topics the book addressed. There are about 20-something chapters. Each chapter address one potential blind spot. So I took the effort to introduce to the reader, and the target readers are new executives, first-time CEOs, CFOs, I would say even sometimes first-time investors or early investors or new investors, not early investors. And the book walks you through all the potential blind spots, so you know when you present a business plan or when you put together a business plan, almost you can look at the outline of the book as a checklist, and each chapter in the book you need your business plan to address how you address this particular topic. Make sure you take it into account in your business plan.
Got it. What are the real salient points? One last salient point that you want to bring out for your book.
First of all, the name comes from a very common dilemma in any new product, chicken and an egg dilemma. I took it to the next step and talking about chicken soup, because the book, also the last chapter, talks about expansions into new markets, international markets, and so on and so forth. So the name comes from the dilemma, chicken and egg. Many cases you have this, okay, should I invest $100,000 to just test my idea, or should I invest $1 million to just come up with a proof of concept? So these are questions every new product, whether it's a new hair salon, new computer gadget.
Got it.
The other thing, or the final bottom line of the book, is the devil in the details. If you don't pay attention to all the details and all the moving parts, something will break and all the other moving parts will collapse after it.
Good point. Good point. I've experienced it myself. All right, Arie, thanks for being a guest on today's show.
Thanks for having me. Happy Monday.
You too. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for watching. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.